Hello, everybody. We are here. We are streaming at the Midwest Open. I'm currently corresponding with ODNIHS, who's a sixth dan, and we
Hi.
are we are reviewing a game between Meng Wang and Dong-Lien Lin. So far, a lot of things have happened in this game. Do you want to walk us through what some of the players have been thinking about and what they're up to?
Yeah, so I mean, right now they're pretty much still an opening, so we can go from the beginning. I think for the time being, there's not too much to talk about the game. Do you know the time settings?
I believe they're an hour apiece
Hour
and
piece.
5 by 1 minute.
Oh wow, 5 by 1 minute.
I think
That's
so.
that's a lot. That's like I know in the U.S. Open Masters, it's like an hour and a half, and then 5 times 30 seconds. But 5 times 1 minute is a lot. Like that means the Byoyomi can go for a very long time.
I might. I should probably double check. And
Probably look
actually,
at
I don't have the chat on the stream open. I should probably look at that.
it.
That would make sense, right? Just in case people are here.
Let's see.
Oh, oops.
Oh, five. It says 5 times 45 seconds, which is still really long. I know a long time ago, in the back when at Congress there was the Ing Masters. That
Yep.
used to be an hour. It was either an hour and a half, and then 5 times 1 minute. And then the U.S. Open was like 2 hours. It used to be 2 hours, and then 5 times 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, the longer the Byoyomi is, like that helps a lot. I certainly appreciate long Byoyomis.
Okay. My internet is chugging because we are doing so many things right now. Let me just get the chat up just to make sure that we can read if anyone has a comment. There we go.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know who they played in the first round, or I guess who they beat in the first round. Can better gauge maybe how strong they might be.
Right. Yeah, I know Ming's very strong. He actually went to Go school in China when he was a young man.
Uh
Um,
huh.
he's in my West Michigan Go Club, so I'm repping with the shirt.
Oh wow. So he's played in one AGA tournament so far back in November, and in that
Correct.
tournament he beat a 4 dan, he beat a 1 dan and 2Q, and then he lost to Albert Yen, who is 8 dan. So it's I guess right now it's still a little bit difficult to tell how strong he actually might be.
Right. Right.
And then for Dong-Lien Lin, he I think doesn't have any record, so that he's a wild card. We don't know how
Oh,
strong he'd be.
wow.
But yeah, we can talk about the game up so far. So
Sure.
here we see the very common double start point opening for both sides.
Okay.
I think nowadays with AI and all that, like it's probably like the most common opening now, just
Sure.
because like nowadays all the 3-3s and like double approach, all the new Joseki that's come out, like
Mm-hmm.
4-4 is a very well balanced, strong opening. But a
Gotcha.
lot of pros, if they're tired of dealing with all the 3-3 shenanigans, they'll also opt for 3-3, 3-4s, or other openings, just so they don't have to deal with that. Because it does get kind of boring seeing the same 3-3 Josekis in each corner after a while, right?
Right? For sure.
So the approach is normal, but this move I would say is less common these days. A lot of times nowadays, as a follow up to the Kema, you'll see this attached, right? And this
Yep.
you'll see very often in many pro games, something like this.
Yeah.
Or sometimes White might come back and play something like this, and then Tanuki elsewhere. So I think the idea of this is that it's just tighter on the corner, so it kind of it's like black can put some pressure on white and also take the corner, but it's not quite the same as in previous times where black used to play this slide.
Right.
This is
Sure.
now considered a bit slack for black.
Gotcha. So they just backed
Um,
up two space and left it at that.
yeah, and Mulan is black. So this move makes me think that either he has something planned or I mean, I don't know how familiar he might be with the common AI openings these days.
Sure.
But this is certainly very AI inspired. I don't even know if we should start calling things AI inspired anymore. Like it's already been several years, and I feel like it's just part of what Go is nowadays.
Yeah. Go just includes AI now, right?
Yeah, it's just what it is. So this is very common, right?
For sure.
Probably the simplest 3-3 Joseki nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Other times you might see something like this, and this can lead to complicated variations. If white wants to keep it simple, you can always just play something like this.
Right.
And then black can either tanuki or put follow up with something like this, or something like this. And we could spend hours talking about different variations
For sure.
of this.
But the main goal for black there is to keep Sente, right? With
Yeah. So
next move jump. Yeah.
white has to play here, otherwise if something else, like this is too painful in the corner.
Right.
And the corner is like about to die. So white needs to play here, and then if black wants to, he could also like extend. But this would lose Sente, and nowadays with AI, like it puts a lot of emphasis on speed and opening.
Gotcha.
So as much as black can, he wants to keep Sente.
Okay.
So black opted for the simple move, and this pretty much will always give you Sente. So white played the next move, and then black approached another corner. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this direction. So like white's when white plays this jump, right? It's very difficult for black to make points at the top, because if you imagine black gets several stones, like white's very solid in the corner, and it's difficult for black to close off like the side around this M line, right? So because of that, I feel like the top doesn't have that much priority. If you compare that to the left side, it's more open. I feel like if I were black, I would either 3-3 again, or play. If I want to approach, I'd play on this side.
Okay.
Another option for black is if he wants to stabilize the 3 stones here, he could make some sort of extension here.
Sure.
But a lot of times that comes in lower priority compared to dealing with another corner.
Yeah, you want to do something more active, right?
Yeah, you want to be very fast and keep putting pressure on your opponent.
Absolutely.
So for example, even if white comes here later, like black has a lot of options to come out some way or another. So for example, something like this, or something like Genhane and play this kind of move. Black has a lot of options, so it's not super urgent to play on the side. It's definitely big, but black can do it later.
Sure.
But black did approach on this side, and white immediately played this diagonal, which is a common follow-up from this Joseki.
Gotcha.
Basically, what this does is it eliminates a lot of the odd corners. So remember before we were talking about later black has this kind of thing, and this reverts to some other Josekis.
Right.
But once white plays here, it eliminates all of those variations. It also helps the white to get kind of off the ground from the second line, and also make playing on the right side more severe, because black has less RG against the corner to work with.
Oh, I see.
So black double approached because white did tanuki. And nowadays, so back in the day, people used to say that the double approach is very severe, right? So people usually wouldn't allow it, but nowadays it's seen as like not so severe. So white can very often comfortably not respond to an approach and still be okay afterwards.
Okay.
And
it looks like black's just settling quickly.
Yeah, this is a very common Joseki for the double approach. Now, it's pretty much, I would say it's probably the most common. Sometimes you'll also still see this extend. And even this Joseki, there's like a bunch of new variations that I'm still not familiar with either. So this is like the classic one. Sometimes, I think recently I've seen other variations with like, I don't quite remember, but there's other wacky stuff with this now.
Sure.
I haven't studied very much. But this is probably the most common one. So this is very common standard sequence.
Hmm.
And black played here. Black also could have considered playing something at the top. So, for example, if black plays at the top, then white can get this pinch it. But in this case, because white's already solid in the top right, maybe black didn't want to do this because like the K17 stone, like there's not really any follow up for it. It's like a single purpose move that helps black get a base,
Right.
but it doesn't do anything more than that. And in Go, you always want to be as efficient as possible, right?
Sure.
So black opted to play here instead. This I think is a normal move. Black also could consider playing higher if he wants, but something around this side basically says that black wants to settle this group and black will deal with anything at the top later. And it's important to note that white can't cut here immediately because black can still capture this stone, right?
Right.
So black doesn't have anything immediate that he has to worry about. So white came back to pinch to this side. White could have also considered playing a pincer here because black did decide not to fix this, right?
Right. Sure.
So white could opt to just attack this immediately as well. But white opt.
Do you think
Mhm.
he's? Do you think White's looking to attack on two fronts then, with the pincer on the right side, leading into a fight that might attack both the 3 stones and the upper left 4 stones?
Yeah, that's possible. Another thing white might have thought is that, as we said before, if black plays something at the top, it's basically gote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe white thinks that it's not so urgent to play. So he decided to play on the right side, which is much more open right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then in general, like the top is relatively lower priority compared to the right side, so that's probably why white picked this point.
Gotcha.
So black played a checking extension, and now white came back here. So yeah, I think this is also a normal follow up for this shape.
Okay.
So I guess now here, like maybe it's possible that white thought maybe if white ends in gote, then black can get sente to play on the right side. So he wanted to try and make an exchange first.
Sure.
I'm not sure necessarily how beneficial that is, but it could be what white was thinking. But so far, I mean, neither player has played any bad moves yet, or like considerably questionable moves yet.
For sure. Well, I mean, and you wouldn't expect them to do at their ranks, right? Because Meng is
Well,
somewhere between 5 and 6 done, and we're not sure how strong Dong-Lien Lin is.
yes, I mean, I think for being 4-dan, like, Dong-Lien, he's playing quite well so far. I do think that nowadays with AI, opening is probably the easiest area to do that because it's the easiest part of the game where you can interpret the bot's moves. Like a lot of times in middle game, you'll see the bot play these moves and you'll be like, why did it play there? I have no idea. But in the opening, I think it's easier to derive principles that you can follow from the AI analysis.
Oh yeah, sure.
Let's see how far. So they're at move 40, right? 20. So we have another 10 moves to go.
And most of AI's middle game moves rely on such a strong reading too. Where
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's really hard to follow kind of the AI style in middle game because you just have to have all the reading to back up everything.
Right.
So a lot of times, for example, when you get into big Moyo games, like sometimes it'll just ignore the Moyo completely and try to like stabilize another area instead.
Oh yeah.
And you'd be like, and that it's doing that because it knows that it can like exploit all this RG in the middle or find a way to live in the middle. But
Sure.
if your reading is not strong, then you're not going to be confident in doing that, and it's going to be really hard to play the same way.
Mm.
You might end up just dying later. So white play these forcing moves. I don't know whether this move is good or not. Sometimes I prefer just to come out somehow, but I think the main idea is the same. Black just wants to find a way to come out. So when he makes these exchanges, the only thing is that with this, it does leave a cutting point at h16. So black has to be careful of that later.
Oh.
But it's not something white would want to do right now. If white cuts right now, so I don't think black will block, because if black blocks, white will cut. And even though there's a cutting point here, white will just give up that stone. And after this, like black still has to live at the top, and also there's no time to settle the outside black stones here. Yeah, so black probably won't do that.
Okay.
Black might consider just coming out like this and giving up the 2 stones. And with this, does this water work? This water doesn't work yet. But even if white comes out, black could consider cutting here, and this could be annoying for white.
I see.
So white probably won't want to push immediately. Probably will save it for later. And there's also the possibility, like later, let's say white gets stronger, a little bit stronger at the top, white might even consider turning here and then attacking the whole group.
Turning where again? I'm sorry.
Turning here.
Okay.
So if this cutting point isn't big, or white has some more stones around here, white might consider taking away black shape and then just attacking the whole group. So something like this. If white has more stones along this area here.
Okay.
But white opted to split black, which is pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
And black, so black played this move. And the idea behind this is that if white plays here, like in the game, now after this sente, there's no more cutting point here. So because of this exchange, white cannot cut anymore.
Interesting.
Of course, white does gain some points at the top, but this was mostly white's area anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So white was going to get this anyways.
Sure.
If white wanted to attire from the bottom, which probably if I'm white I still would have done, it'd probably go something like this, and then black would capture this 1 stone.
Okay.
And now black is much more settled at the top. There's still a cutting point here that could still be kind of annoying. And I guess this ladder doesn't work right now either. So if this happens, can black still live at the top? If black plays something like this. So this shape we can see it's dead. So black can't live at the top if white cuts. So I can't say I agree with white's choice to attire from this direction. I feel like with this, the ladder doesn't work. So I don't know how black is gonna settle, like if white comes out.
Sure.
If black extends again and then tries to play a net, this cutting point is still pretty severe, because after black comes out like this, white can consider coming out with this stone later too. So it has impact on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I still don't think white would necessarily do it immediately, but black still has to worry about it later on.
Sure.
So if I'm white, I'd probably attire from the top. I think this makes it a little bit easier for black to manage.
Too soft on black.
Yeah. And so black goes with the aggressive cut immediately. And white lives in the corner. But now we can see that white's stones here are all split. And because of white's choice to attire from this L17 direction, because there's no cut anymore, these stones are in much more danger. Because black, you can imagine black already had a stone here, for example. And you can see now black can just very aggressively go on the attack against these 4 stones.
Yeah. And
so this is Sente for white.
Chad is reminding us that we can't see the mouse pointer, so you have to use triangles or something. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, that's awkward.
Because we're online, right? So.
Oh, right. That's right. All right. I'll refer to coordinates. So earlier I was saying, like if this happens, if white gets stones around like the end 14, let me use this here, like around this area.
Yeah.
And white could push through and cut, and then potentially attack both groups.
Okay.
But now in the game, here. But yeah, now in the game, because white has to live in the corner after black cut, and normally like let's backtrack a little bit. So normally, if black were to cut right away, this cut is pretty severe because black has to extend and then place the moves at the top. So in the process of black living, white will live in the corner, but black gave up a lot of influence on the outside.
Oh yeah.
So
Sure.
this black stone here is basically as good as dead,
Yeah, it's
basically.
useless.
And white's potential on the outside is really big.
Mm-hmm.
And you can imagine these 3 black stones here are going to be in trouble because white's so much stronger on the outside.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's why black usually doesn't cut immediately. But in the game after these exchanges, now when black cuts, there's no more cutting point at G17.
Right.
So now when white lives, black doesn't need to worry about anything there.
For sure.
So
yeah. And plus, he has a strong attack on those 4 stones around.
yeah. So then black can play very strongly on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Here black is being quite. Yeah, this is very powerful for black. I don't know if I were black, I probably wouldn't start the code immediately because it's not particularly urgent. Like these cornerstones, they're not cutting like 2 weak groups. Like black is pretty strong on both sides.
For sure.
So I don't know if black necessarily needs to start this code immediately, but it is troublesome for white because it is still a good chunk of territory, and
there's not a lot of threats on the board yet, though, either, right?
Yeah. So we can really see the severity of this cut here.
Sure.
And this really all came about because white decided to play this Atari instead of Atari from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So white started this ko. So even if black loses this ko, I think black doesn't really need to be too worried because like anything on the outside is gonna be any 2 moves on the outside are gonna be more beneficial.
Sure.
Black didn't really have many points at the top anyways, so black's not really losing anything. So black played this ko threat, and then there's continuing to ko. White played this ko threat. So black answered here. So white has to be a little bit careful because these kind of code threats, they could help black become thicker on the outside. So white needs to be very careful when he's picking his code threats. But at the same time, like white doesn't really have that many codes either. Probably if I'm white, I'll probably play something on the right side to swallow up the 4 stones. And you can imagine if, let's say, white captures like the 4 stones somewhere around here, and black captures this corner, the balance of territory, strict territory, is still
fairly even.
Yeah, not too bad. But I think it'd still be much better for black because white has these 4 floating stones that aren't doing anything.
Okay.
And once black captures the corner, these 5 stones here become very solid.
True, very true.
Black doesn't need to worry about them at all. So really, white wouldn't be able to accomplish anything by running the 4 stones out. So that becomes very difficult for white.
Yeah.
The other thing is that black still has this bottom right corner here that is his. So even if they trade, black still has more of a framework on the rest of the board. And so at this level, like honestly, if you make one kind of mistake like L17, it can really make the game immediately turn on its head and become super difficult.
That's amazing. That had so many cascading effects for this
game. Yeah. But they're continuing this ko. And I think white figured like he can't afford to keep answering threats. Like, black has too many threats in this area. So he just captured the ko. And the nice thing for black is that now the corner is pretty solid, and this makes these 2 stones become a lot weaker.
Yeah, I see it.
Let's see.
So he solved pretty much all of his problems after that.
Atari. Right.
Even the left-hand side is solid. Pretty solid.
Yeah, the left-hand side is pretty good too. I'm kind of wondering whether or not black could have picked a different threat. Like for example, what if black just decided maybe to be more aggressive against the 2 stones. But I think black just wants to settle his 4 stones first, and then after that, white has too many floating stones
Yeah, the
around.
top 4 stones would get in a lot of trouble with the fight that kind of split.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's good enough for black. So white fix this. Yeah, so now we can see that black is basically alive in the corner. Although this move very like normally if I were black, I would want to be a little more active on the outside and maybe find a way to attack. But black is probably scared that if white peeps here and then plays this kind of move, black's not alive in the corner anymore, so black still has to run out.
Sure.
Although,
and that gives white a lot of splitting moves like between the top because the top isn't fully alive yet. And
so this top group isn't alive anymore. Even though these 4 stones are weak, so it's possible that white could split them off and then attack this group while efficiently saving the 4 stones. So black opted to just secure the corner group first, and then work on the top side later. In this way, the 2 white stones are still unsettled. The only thing is, like, I don't know if I would have picked this move to fix black's shape. Like maybe, I still feel like I would rather want to play something on the outside.
Yeah, something more active.
Something more efficient.
Yeah.
With this move, it feels like after, if white adds a move and if black fixes, then it feels like white's a little bit strong in this area. So later, if white comes in on the right side, it could be a little bit better for white.
Okay.
But I think it's not a big deal. So white didn't answer. I kind of wonder. The only thing is, if white answers, is this necessarily Sente against black's corner? So if black played something else, for example, white's follow-up would be this clamp. And if white does this, Link's under, black could play here. So if white wants to kill black, white would want to probably have to connect here. Because if white plays anything else, then black can play here, and then this would be alive.
Right.
So white would need to add a move here, but then black can very easily make 2 out of this.
Sure.
So I think, if black can...
That weakens the 3 stones that are 13 too, right?
Right. Yep. So if black can live in Sente, then of course, then this exchange would be pretty good. So white decided he couldn't afford to spend it on the move here, so he decided to move the 4 stones out.
Sure. But those are still...
So they're floating, so it's pretty difficult for white to accomplish a lot with it. I feel like
black's going to get stronger on both sides by attacking that group.
Yeah, I feel like coming out right now it's still too early. Because there's still the rest of the bottom right of the board that white needs to deal with later. So by moving out the 4 stones now, he's making his group heavier. So it's harder to sacrifice later.
Yeah, and he could trash 4 stones and take something bigger elsewhere. I mean, it's only 8 to 12 points, right?
It's maybe, if you count like the other little intersections here, maybe like we'll say like 15 points ish.
Okay.
But if you compare that to like the bottom right area, of course, is much bigger.
Right, for sure.
So let's see how black attacks these 4 stones. So black jumps here because he wants to attack the pile, giving support to his top group. And the other thing that this move does is it helps to prepare for the future fight on the right side when white plays. When black comes back to attack the 2 white stones.
Oh yeah, sure.
So I think right now the game is very So right now I think the game is very good for. And again, this all comes from this one Atari.
Oh my gosh.
This one move can change everything.
White is going to be kicking themselves the whole game. Do you think he knows it was that though?
Well, you know, these two players, for having so much time, they're playing very quick.
That's true.
The game started what? About half an hour ago, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, and they have
And they're
plenty of
already on
time.
move 7 to 3. Yeah, so I feel like White should have thought about this L17 Atari more than he did. Let's see. So White played here, which I don't really know what he's trying to accomplish.
It seems
I feel
really
like
slow. Maybe he's trying to help the right side 2 stones?
yeah, I think he's trying to help the right side 2 stones, but I don't really know if this helps them very much. So I think what White is trying to do is, let's say Black plays somewhere else. Maybe there's some sort of weakness here. So for
Well,
example,
that would...
if Black blocks, then White can maybe double Hane.
Yeah.
But I feel like it doesn't really do that much. Like
Then
it hurts.
the
Yeah, the
cut
five
works better
stones
that
just
way, though,
die.
right?
Yeah, the 5 stones just kind of die,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, White can't even really capture the 2 cutting stones.
Well,
Like Black can
can White
play
cut
this
at
kind of move.
H17? Forgive my ignorance, my low-key reading, but now H17 works, right? Or H16, excuse me.
H16. So Black would come out here. So Black wouldn't want to block here
Right,
because
right, okay.
it's hard.
Yeah.
And then White can capture the 6 stone at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
There's
no good.
there's enough liberty to kill.
For sure.
So Black would come out 1 more. And
Okay.
now when White pushes again and cuts, then Black can kill the 4
Right.
stones.
That's
So that
even
means that White
worse.
has to come back. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then this would be really good for Black.
Mm-hmm.
And then if White wants to cut here, this also wouldn't work because it has, well, for one thing, Black can still play this Atari,
Sure.
but Black can also kill the 3 stones at the top now.
Aha. So yeah, that's a terrible cut still.
Yeah, so it's still a terrible cut. And if this doesn't work, I mean, then I feel like this move has very little value.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really accomplish anything for White, and I wouldn't be surprised if when Black saw this, he like shook his head or something. I don't know if we can see it. They have cameras on it, so I don't know like what Black's head looked like if he like furrowed his eyebrows a bit when he saw this move.
Oh,
I think
I don't know.
it's a bit strange.
I'll have to watch the
Black.
I'll have to watch the VOD and check.
Yeah. So Black played this very calm move. So we saw there wasn't really much on Black played here anyways, just to fix anything that would be possibly there.
Mm-hmm.
And this move still puts pressure on White stones. So probably White has to jump, which
Okay.
White played this move. So if White just jumps, I think Black's plan is probably he might keep jumping, and then White would have to probably jump again. And you can see through all of the exchanges, White is not gaining any points whatsoever.
And then Black has more potential in the lower right quadrant.
Right.
Yeah.
So then Black will probably jump here, and White's 2 stone is still in danger. Black's bottom right is becoming huge. It's a disaster for White.
Yeah.
So what White is trying to accomplish with this move is he wants to try to settle his group in a more elegant fashion. And I think it's still really difficult to do because when White plays here, let's just say Black extends like this.
Uh-huh.
He's removing any potential odds against this group. And even if White spends some moves, makes some shape here, I mean White's still not alive. Like White still needs to spend another move. And you can just see, even if White is able to settle here,
mm-hmm.
How many moves there's? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 stones surrounding like 2 points. Yeah, it's not doing anything.
Oh, it's so painful.
It's just like a dumpling. Like it's basically as good as a dumpling with 2 little eyes.
Such a liability.
Yeah. And meanwhile, even if you just look at Black's left group, like he's already making more points here than White is making with his entire group in the center.
Oh, I have some questions.
Yes.
Not about the game, unfortunately. So the chat is asking if Dwyron is here and if we're covering Dwyron's game. Unfortunately, Dwyron was unable to make it to the Midwest Open. He has been shouting up the tournament, but unfortunately, due to some personal reasons, he wasn't able to make it. So sorry, y'all. If you were hoping to see Dwyron commentate or to play some games, he won't be here this weekend. But we still have some awesome commentary, and we get to watch some awesome games. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks much for
Yeah.
ODNIHS for filling in.
Yeah, no problem. So Black decided to play this very much more aggressive move here. Basically telling White that his fancy move doesn't work. So we can see here he's basically destroying any semblance of shape that White could possibly. So even though there's some Ataris on the left side here, maybe some weaknesses here,
Sure.
they're not really weak because even if White plays this Atari, like White can't actually accomplish anything. White would just die.
Yeah.
So Black doesn't really have much to worry about. I think the only possible thing he would have to worry about is, like, let's say White plays here and can play this Hane. If there's no weaknesses on the outside, which there are a billion, then Black would only have one eye. But of course, because White does have so many weaknesses, this is not a concern for Black. So White's trying to desperately find a way to settle his shape, but I think at this point it's already a pretty lost cause. So White played here, Black peeps, and now we are caught up with the game state.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we can see here probably Black is gonna try to come out around somewhere around this point.
Sure.
And just split White up more, and we can see that if these two groups get separated, then White has even more to win. And even if they all get joined up somehow, like, they're still not making any points, and that's something that's really important to always keep in mind.
Yeah, if Black is pushing from the right of that group, then he's still surrounding a massive potential on the lower right quadrant. Nobody's dealt with that yet. Is that surprising that they've not touched lower right, or?
Well, I think there's too much fighting going on in this.
Yeah.
When White added the move over here, he's basically made a commitment to save these 4 stones. And that's probably not a very smart commitment to make right now.
Right, yeah.
It's too heavy. It's too heavy.
Yeah, far too heavy.
Yeah. If White wants to come back in this game, he has to find a way to be a little more patient and find an opportunity to rescue these stones more naturally. Because even if Black spends a single move to attack those 4 stones, let's say Black were to play, just for example, let's say Black plays here.
Yeah.
It's not easy to capture the 4 stones. So if we imagine, let's say White played here, and let's say Black wanted to capture those 4 stones, and White played another move, and then Black finally captured them. We can see that, like, Black captured them, but White got some benefit elsewhere. Sure. And White, now these stones are not a burden anymore. So White can treat them very lightly. And later on, there's still some potential around here. So it's still not 100% clean, like a clean kill. These stones could still be helpful potentially.
Yeah, especially as Aji from outside of that group.
Right. So later on, if some fighting happens, who knows? They could come back to life somehow.
Bring back the zombie stone.
Yeah. So it's really important for you not to get too attached to stones that don't really have much meaning.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of making points.
Yeah.
I think one reason White might have wanted to pull them out was to keep the attack on Black's top group, because Black's top group is not alive. But it's just not realistic. Like, if you think maybe like 2 moves ahead, the moment Black plays this jump, how are you going to attack Black? I have no idea. But now we're caught up to the game. They played 2 more moves. So black decided to just cut white immediately. So what this does is it kills these 3 stones. And basically settles both of black's groups here and here. So once this happens, black has basically no weak groups.
Yeah.
And white still needs to secure his stones over here. So white doesn't have time to Tanuki yet.
Right.
White is still busy.
And white begging to come out apparently. Is there anything to think about with a move like this? Like
So
I guess what the
white's
push
plan,
does, right?
if black connects here,
Mhm.
then white can block here and then capture the 2 stones like
Okay.
this. So black needs to figure something else out. Let's see. So if black plays something like here, for example, let's say white plays here,
Mhm.
and what happens next?
Black would probably push through it. Well, no, H13 would be my instinct, but again, I'm a Q player, so.
I mean, I think it's not bad.
And just let white save the 3 stones, but still cut apart the other group.
So probably white would play. So if white just blocks, right?
Mhm.
Black will cut them, and then come back to maybe fix here. Because if black doesn't fix that, let's say black plays something else, white can still come back, and if black cuts, then white can push, and
Or even
black cannot connect that H15, otherwise he'll die.
Yep.
So black will spend a move here, and now accomplishes the objective of connecting his 2 groups and keeping white's stones here still weak.
Okay.
And now we can see here, now white has 8 stones to take care of, whereas before he only had 4.
Right.
So it becomes, again, difficult for white.
Absolutely.
So white might consider playing this move. And if black cuts now black has a cutting point here. So black's shape on the outside is a bit weaker.
Sure.
And if black fixes it, then
Then the balance of power changes because the 4 stones in the middle are a little bit weaker, and then white on the right has more to connect to, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, it still doesn't really work. Like if white Atari's here and Atari's here, white still can't connect here. Black can just Atari here and capture everything.
Huh.
So it still doesn't really work for white. If white plays here, then black can just connect here, and white still can't connect up everything.
Right.
So this doesn't work for white either, which means that probably, yeah, white's kind of screwed here. To put it simply.
It looks like black just drew back to E14, actually.
So he drew back here. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. It also still accomplishes black's goal of connecting his 2 groups up. And I guess white would have to come and cut, otherwise
it was a meaningless
I don't know what
move,
white's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so black will most certainly cut what he did, and white came back to connect here. So this move basically stops black from cutting off these stones from these stones before. And additionally, later on, white maybe can consider playing this Atari. Hold on. Wait, hold on. This move. And if black connects, then white can capture this. But right now, it's not really an thing for black to fix. So white's not going to play immediately. Black will just come back. And probably, if white Atari's from here, black can Atari here and jump out. And you can see here that white's whole group is still in trouble.
Oh my gosh.
So it's still, this is probably, it'd be too early for white to play something like this when the group is still unsettled. And then maybe white would consider playing here, but then, I mean, black didn't really lose too much in this area here. It's just a few points.
Yeah.
So not a big concern for black. So black played this move. And what is this move trying to do?
Filthy
I
opponent.
yeah, I don't really know what he's trying to push with this or why it's very urgent. Yeah. I mean, I guess technically, let's say black spends elsewhere. White can play here in Sente because this threatens to capture the three blackstones.
Right.
But black can still play here, and this would not be a good exchange for white because now black can later on play h18, and white all of a sudden just lost a bunch of points. So I don't really know what black was scared of here.
Yeah, puzzling.
Yeah, it's a bit puzzling. So he played here, white responded with this, and what this move does is it activates all of these cutting points here. So black has to fix on the outside.
Right.
And
it's
he's
almost
probably
like
gonna
black induced that, right? By playing the
right.
H13
So
move.
that's
Yeah.
why I don't really know what the purpose of the this move was. I guess what he might have thought was if he else and white plays here, then and he fixes, then white has an eye at h13.
Okay.
But so probably what's gonna happen is he's gonna tie and then connect somehow.
I see. That M14 move feels... Well, I guess it fixes some cut issues, like one of the cut issues.
Well,
Sort
so
of.
if black fixes on this side, white's gonna probably tie on this side, and this is a very painful tie to connect.
Sure.
Now it's much easier for white to connect this stone to these two stones, right?
Right.
But let's backtrack a bit. I still think like black wanted to get rid of this eye in Sente, but I mean he could have also played here.
Sure.
And I guess
maybe the empty triangle felt too painful for him.
I mean, maybe he thought like if white atties and then connects, so like his shape is bad. But
yeah,
I mean, if he thinks this is bad, then why not just play here to begin with?
Sure.
Like if black's gonna play here anyways, then I feel like black should have just started with this move.
Yeah.
Sure, like white can make an eye in Sente, but at the same time, black is getting a lot of thickness across this area of the board.
Right.
So I think this would still be very satisfactory for black.
Yuffington asks, why not O12 instead of M14?
Why not O12 instead of M14?
Yeah.
Something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible. The thing, okay, so the reason I probably wouldn't play here is that if white comes out somehow, I don't know, let's just say he comes out somehow.
Sure.
Eventually, this Atari, so after everything's all settled, right? This Atari is still going to be a bit painful for black.
Right. And
so you can think of it as if you assume that this Atari is Sente for white, so if black plays something else and we assume this, would black play O12 next?
No, they'd probably play O13.
So let's say when it does something. So like, would this be a natural move for black to play next? And the answer is not necessarily. Yeah, because the thing is, like, this move attacks white, but white can still get out. So it's not actually that effective of an attack.
Okay.
And you might rather want to play something like O13 because it splits more effectively from splits white's stones more effectively between this group and this group. Or you might also consider maybe just playing the jump to develop the bottom side. Okay. And if white links up, then white's still connecting on all dominate. You can see all of these moves here and all of these stones here. They are making no points.
Right.
Whereas you can see like if black spends other moves elsewhere, like on the outside, like this move, this is helping to make a lot of points at the bottom right.
Okay. Yeah.
And black already made some profit by capturing these 3 stones at f15, and also secured some points on the left side around c12. So you can see like black's already made like a lot has through all of these moves. But let's go back to the game. So he made these exchanges. I still think h13 questionable.
Yeah.
But that's
it happened,
what he.
So.
So now white is trying to come out with 2 stones. So
sorry to interrupt. People are asking how the Midwest Open is. It's pretty great. There are over 80 players here. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, BadukClub. That's BadukClub is the URL. They are basically a map of Go clubs all around the United States, and they're working to help Go clubs build their attendance and all that. We also have sponsors in the AGA and the AGF who have donated money and resources. So just want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. And this event is pretty cool. There are, I think 3 or 4 state championships happening at this event. And I think that's a real benefit to the states who maybe don't have enough people to organize their own state championship. So yeah, I think the event's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, I think it's definitely great how the Midwest Open can kind of put all of these state championships together.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, we just recently. So I'm from in Virginia. So Maryland doesn't have like a quote unquote official state championship.
Okay.
There's the Maryland Open that happens in May. But it's not. We haven't really done the whole state championship in Maryland yet.
Sure.
But in Virginia, they recently had theirs a couple months ago.
Okay.
So I think it's great that we can have official state champions in each state now. It's really cool.
Yeah. They invited Michigan, but Michigan and Ohio have like a tremendous rivalry. So I was like, so I asked some guys in Michigan, and they're like, no, we can host our own. So we're probably gonna have the Michigan State Championship in May.
Yeah, and I think Michigan has a relatively more active Go scene.
Yeah, we have a pretty large player base.
Yeah,
across a few different clubs.
Right. So White decided that it's time to move these stones. And I think in moving these 3 stones out, White is hoping to be able to attack these stones potentially. So let's see how Black is going to deal with this. Oh, so Black played the cut right away. So yeah, this is a very natural sequence that's going to happen. So White doesn't have this ladder right here.
And they only sort of have the net. Yeah.
Yeah, so he only has this. It seems still very difficult for White to deal with. But let's see how this pans out. Yeah, so Black plays here, Ataris, White extends. This is all like a one-way street.
Yep.
And White's gonna try to attack these 2 stones on the right side. So if White can capture these 2 stones, then I think White's defense was very successful because he managed to erase a lot of Black's potential on the right side and also settle his group.
Right.
What kind of is Black? Do you have any ideas?
Sorry, what was the question? I was reading the chat for a second.
What kind of visit Black might be able to try to get out of White's attack?
Okay, I was looking at some kind of connect under at like S12, but it feels really, really weak.
So if he plays S12, White's gonna push and Black's gonna block, right?
And then White's gonna attack at S11, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if White does this, this won't quite work for White because White has to come back and fix, right? And then Black has to tie.
Yeah.
So seems like this is working. But let's see if there's anything else we can do. So for example, what if White plays this clamp here now? So if black blocks, now
I was actually looking at black standing up at R14 and threatening to cut off the 5 stones immediately.
yeah, so if black plays here now, white's gonna connect, right?
Yeah.
And black has to come back to connect here.
Yep.
Otherwise white's gonna tell you that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now if white clamps here and black tries the same thing, then white has enough liberties to capture the stone.
Yep.
So this wouldn't work for black. But if black plays here immediately, then white can Atari. If white Atari, white might still want to clamp, but then we see that the shorter liberties and white can't cut at R12.
Right.
So white might not Atari and might just clamp immediately, so he doesn't like use up that R14 liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And now if black tries to cut, white can Atari, and now we see that this seems to be working for black still.
Yeah, it does.
Because now if white Ataris, white's not
Still in a shortage of
Atari
liberty,
at
yeah.
L12. Right, there's still a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, so everything seems to be working for
Hey,
black.
I found a move.
Yeah, it seems to be working. And I think if white is split, then white now has to deal with this group, and then this group, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which becomes another big burden for white to deal with.
Oh my gosh.
This whole game is just white dealing with a bunch of burdens,
That's
all
true.
because of this one move.
Well, it looks like they did something completely different in the game than that S12.
Yeah. So this was the resistance I was looking at initially.
Okay.
So this aims to just directly split white's groups here, these stones. So if white cuts, which he did, and black has to cut now, white cannot play like this Atari, because if this happens, let's say, what's the best way for black to deal with this? If black wants to capture the one stone side,
Mm-hmm.
then white can Atari here, and if black comes out,
And it's a net.
well, it's not really a net because black
right.
has
The double
these
Atari.
Ataris
Yeah.
too. And there's no ladder for white to deal with, so probably this wouldn't work for white.
Right.
If white wants to extend anywhere else, then we have a ladder here. So this is still very difficult for white to deal with.
Sure.
White decided to Atari here and descend. So white's goal here is to basically make the previous variation, there's no more ladder here, and then also black's 3-stone here.
Okay.
So let's think for a moment, can black do something to still save the 3-stone? Because now if black were to try to connect back up, white could, yeah, it's a bit different. What's the best way for
Wouldn't
deal?
white just R11?
R11s, what if black was here? And then if he pushed it, connected.
No, I mean, after the S10, wouldn't. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I'm missing something.
So if we make all of these exchanges, white doesn't have a way to capture black's stones.
Right. Because of the shortage of liberty still.
Right. Is there another way? What if white plays here and then plays here? So now, because black has black has fewer liberties. So if black just pushes, and if black connects, like in the previous variation, this will just capture black stones, right?
Sure.
So black would have to play this. Well, there's no code either because white can just extend.
Mm-hmm.
So this wouldn't work for black anymore. So black would have to find something on the outside. It seems difficult for black. I don't see anything.
Interesting.
Think. So one option for black, maybe he could play this and then net on the outside. So if white tries to come out, then
But white has the first move on the 3 stones.
yeah. Well, so if white just captures the 3 stones immediately, then black can just give them up
Oh yeah,
and maybe try to salvage points at the bottom.
yeah.
But I mean, locally speaking, still a pretty good result.
Okay.
But it's difficult for black to do much else. Black can't really play this net because white pushes, then the 2 stones will get captured. If black tries to take a liberty here, then white can just simply clamp here, and white will capture the 3 stones. So I think white definitely means that black maybe didn't completely think this move through. And I think maybe he should have just played the suggested and linked back up simply.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because he kind of lost liberties by playing that attach and cut.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think your move is good. I think this is good.
I found a move that the high dogs didn't find.
Because this way, like,
I
you
played
don't.
the chicken move.
I mean, sometimes the chicken move is the best move, right? You just want to win the game. That's all that matters.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's cool or not. Just win the game. That's the most important.
Exactly.
So the nice thing about this is that it doesn't give white like more RG to work with to settle these 3 stones here.
Okay.
So that way they still have to fend for themselves, and meanwhile black can later capture the white stones up top. But let's see what happened in the games. So yeah, I still don't know why they're playing so.
So what now?
They're definitely. I still don't know why they're playing so. Like they definitely still have a lot of time left.
Yeah. No question.
I mean, it might just be the style to play faster. For me, like personally, I'm a very slow player. I'm probably on like the opposite end of the. I'll spend like 10 minutes deciding between 2 moves that are like almost identical. But I think my attitude is like, if you had the time, or I guess it's like, if I were to lose a game and I had time left over, I'd feel really bad compared to if I had spent all the time and didn't have enough time left over, like maybe to think about if I had gotten some complicated situation. Like I wouldn't feel as bad losing that compared to if I had extra resources and I didn't use them, then I'd regret that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have those regrets almost daily.
So let's see. Black played here. What is black trying to do here?
I feel like the S13 connection.
Yeah. So if white plays on the outside, some let's just say something on the outside. If black tries to connect with S13, yeah, I guess this is fine because even if white hanes, these 4 white stones have an issue, right?
Right, exactly.
White cannot actually cut. But what if white would to play let's just say white wants to take a liberty, right? Can black accomplish anything with this? So if black tries to play, okay, let's say if black hanes, right?
Right.
White can push
down.
If black tries to link under, then white of course can Atari.
Right, for sure.
And this would not work for black. And what if black just connects? So if black connects, and let's say white plays,
white split like D13 or something, and then black.
Then what happened with this cut?
Yeah.
So white can't immediately win the cap. White doesn't have.
Sure.
So white would have to Atari here.
But no, I don't. I don't think black would connect. I think black would allow the stone to be captured, right?
Right, right. But so I'm saying like if black does connect, then white can capture the stone, and black has to connect here. And now white has an eye, so black will almost definitely lose this capture.
Sure, yeah.
So if white just put it on the outside, we can see that uh, white has more liberties now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's backtrack. If black plays something like, I don't know, here, for example, and white captures this stone, if black takes any other liberty, white can connect here, and then white has like a bajillion more liberties nowadays.
Sure, yeah.
So if black atties here, then white can attie out, and if black captures, then white can connect up to his group at the top.
Oh, yeah.
So there's nothing really black can do to stop white from gaining enough liberties on this side. So the question is, with 4 liberties on this group, is there something new that black can do on the outer?
Yeah.
So perhaps against these 4 stones. These have 3 liberties.
Right. So I mean, black could turn at d7 and then maybe attack the two stones at r8 somehow. Maybe make an
so
eye with the
maybe
other stone.
Yeah, this is a forcing move, right?
Yeah.
White has to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Can black actually net the stones? I don't see a good way for him to do that.
Right, but now it's an eye versus an eye. Like if black connects d15, right?
Yeah, so if he connects here, if white plays here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If black pulls back, then now white has more liberties than because black can't like separate white. And if black plays anything else, white can capture here. Oh, wait a moment. Black has a trick here. Black can play this move.
Yeah.
And now when white captures, white doesn't have an eye, and white can't come back and connect.
Exactly, yeah.
It's
beautiful.
Yes. So that means, let's see. This is all a force sequence. There's something better that white can do with this. So let's say white makes the eye now. And black plays, let's say black makes an I2. White tries to destroy it. Now, if black tries to take a liberty, and let's say, well, okay, no, wait, hold on. Wait, black needs to connect here.
Yeah.
So if white wants to try to kill, right, eventually white needs to take this.
Sure.
But it's not going to work right now because right now white doesn't have enough liberties to do that. Which means at best this would become a. So for example, if white plays stuff on the outside, actually white can't even play stuff on the outside right now because if let's say this happens, eventually in order to take the T9 liberty, white has to connect here, right? Otherwise, black can play these moves in Sante, and white has to
extend the liberties. Yeah,
extend the liberty. So if this happens, black can play here, and if white wants to keep the eye, he has to play here. But then black can even Tanuki now, and white's still gonna die.
Yes.
So this is a problem for white. But if black plays here, let's say white plays here first, right? Or let's say white. So if he captures here, black can still live in one, right? Like this. Yeah, this would be alive in the corner. So if white plays here first, and if black connects and white takes this, black can still link up with this move.
Sure. Oh yeah, because those forces.
But does this have some impact on on the fight on the right side. So now if black links up, then white has a lot more liberties, right?
Yeah.
So now
That's
this
not
might work better. But it's getting complicated.
Black has forcing moves to take liberties this way too. Yeah.
Yeah, so if black pushes again and then plays something like this, how easily can white deal with this?
White would
So
just
let's just look at the raw liberty.
yeah, sure.
So in terms of raw liberty, white can win the capturing race.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, Fairy Girl says my task for tomorrow is find a better light source so I don't look like a vampire. Actually, I have an idea of how to fix that. But yes, lighting will be better tomorrow. So what happened is we had a camera set up over there, and it worked better for me to use the laptop's camera to talk to ODNIHS, and we just did some things. So yeah.
Let's see if there's something better here. I mean, honestly, if I were black, I would even consider just capturing these just in case. And like, even if the corner dies, like, what are these 5 stones gonna do?
Yeah, right?
Right, black's lower light is gonna be way bigger. But of course, I mean, if black can help it, he doesn't want to have to give up the corner.
Sure, absolutely.
So let's try to find something better for black. Next here, white takes. Has to play something at the top if you want to save the corner. This wouldn't work because, well, let's say black attacks here, and then cuts here. Or even, there's also this possibility here. And be cut first.
Oh, it's a ko now? Oh man.
Yeah, now it's a ko. So this gets very complicated.
For sure.
So this is all if white plays. And white has other options. For example, white could play here too.
Yep.
If this happens, let's see. We've established already that it's wait a second. So if black plays here and let's say you turn. And so white can't play here because now this will capture this white stones. If white plays here, then black can capture those stones. Oh. So if white plays here, then black can come back and block here. And white attack. This if he tries this kind of, then black can continue to tighten white's liberties.
Okay.
And after the end of all of this, now okay, it's still kind of difficult for black to capture white. So if black turns here, white can turn here, and white will win the capturing race.
Yeah.
Not that this would be bad for black. Like the bottom right corner is pretty massive corner. So this would definitely still not be bad for black.
Hey, our hero Devin is here, and he's gonna move a light for me really quick. Can you move that like towards this way? If it's not too taped down. That camera doesn't matter, so like yeah. Probably like right in that rat's nest of cables. Hey, thank you very much. I'm human again.
So I'm saying if black has 4 liberties, maybe black can actually capture these now.
Yeah.
If white tries to turn like this, what happens here? If black plays here, I think.
Oh, but I'm shiny. I didn't bring my powder, you guys. Got a shiny forehead.
So if white plays here and black cuts, and now white can win this capturing race, because black has to spend moves in order to take one of these.
Oh my gosh. What are you doing, man? That is way too complicated.
Yeah, this is getting very complicated. Maybe we should go back to the game and see what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game's moved on like another like 15 moves.
Okay.
What? Oh, so white played here. Does this work?
I don't feel like it does. Oh,
Okay, so white established that if he didn't take a liberty, I mean, I don't know if they read out all these variations or not, but what is white's goal with this move? He's saying that if black Connie's here, what is he gonna do? I don't know what he's trying to go for. I mean, white's still kind of screwed on one side.
Yeah.
This needs to live somehow, and black can capture those stones. And not to mention that these 4 stones are still in severe danger.
Right, with just a simple net. Yeah.
So I feel like that's probably not good. But what else can white do? If white cuts, here.
Mm-hmm. Then black connects and sente. Well, no, go tag.
No, well, black has to Atari, right?
No,
and
black.
If white,
oh yeah.
Yeah. And then black captures. Now we're back to this variation where if black cuts.
Yeah, and that works for black, I believe. If I
I mean, technically there's a co with this. This is still technically a co.
I have a feeling that's what they did that. No, it's not.
Um,
Sorry, I have a mini screen with the actual board in front of me, so I can kind of see what happened. But
so in the game black played here, I'm really confused. This fight is very strange.
Absolutely.
Like honestly, I don't like playing super complicated games. So for some reason, I mean, I still would have honestly played the move you did and just try to make it as simple as possible. Because it feels like if black doesn't read this out correctly, right, black is gonna lose a lot here.
Yeah, like the entire upper right corner or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the upper right corner is in danger. Like if black somehow dies in this area, then black lost a lot here, and black's potential just gets completely erased. Yeah. So I would have much rather we go back if you just link up simply like
a 4Q would.
Yeah, if you just link up with this, there's not a lot that can happen. Like white needs to settle everything, and black's not in danger anyways, so feel is much more comfortable for black to play. It's like you can go grab a cup of coffee, come back to your seat, sit down, take a few sips, and take a book out, read it, and everything's fine. Black will still win the game. But now it's super complicated. If black messes up, he could very well throw a long game.
Yeah. Oh dear.
But black is 6 done, so hopefully he knows what he's doing.
Right.
So let's see what happens here. So black plays this, and white comes back to attack the corner. So white is seeing that if white were to jump out, black would play here, and white would play here to stop black from living, and then black would cut, and this comes back to that variation we were looking.
This isn't the same.
No, this is not the same. Wait, hold on.
Because black has fewer liberties now, and white can kill in 2 moves.
So the thing is, if black does this, it doesn't work because white can play here, and now this situation is locally a seki, and black is like about to die here. So black would have to connect here, and then white can connect here, and white has enough liberties. So what was black's plan if this was gonna happen? Maybe black was gonna play here. If black plays here, then white has to connect. So if white like tries to extend, then black has this wedge, right?
Right.
And if this happens, now white's gonna die.
Yeah. And white.
Yeah. So if white connects, black hanes, but now this still becomes a ko. Maybe if you look at ko threats right now, I mean, I feel like white's group over here now, it's not easy for black to like attack them severely in one move anymore.
Right.
So there's not really any code sets around here. Maybe one with the peep possibly.
Okay.
The peep around here. But other than that, black doesn't really have any code threats. So I mean, am I missing some variation here?
No.
Maybe if black plays here. So now if white tries to capture black, black has this Tetsuji.
Yeah, the squeeze.
So something like this, and then white will be captured.
Yeah.
So white would probably play.
A way to play says black can net the center after the Kosumi.
I see. So black can he still net the center? Oh, he can play here and then play here. Yes, that is true. So now with this exchange, black now this move works. If white can't capture these stones fast enough, this won't work for white.
Got
That's true. So I guess that's the meaning behind move here. And white realized that, so he went back to try and attack the court. But what is this? Wait.
What is that?
Black found something nice. So the idea here is that because this move is Sente, right? So if white tries to link up, if white tries to link up, this Atari happens, and if white captures, then black can
see it. Wow.
That's nice.
Oh, that's
which means you
cruel.
can. Yeah, and that means there's not really much that white can do. If white fixes that, then black can just cut off white stones, right? If this happens, let's say this happens. What if white? So if white tries to like not give up these stones, and black captures, we can see that if white tries to connect back, then white still cannot save the top stones.
Oh dear.
So this is a pretty good move because this helps to cut off white's whole. But let's see if black has the liberties to do this. So if white Ataris, right? And if white were to play here, for example, black can still play here to eliminate the eye. And if white tries to kill black, black can play here. And white has to connect. Black can Atari here. And because white has no eye, there's no way white can fill these. Right?
Gotcha. Yep. Oh,
Yeah, so
White is holding their head right now. I don't know what that means, but they are
he probably realized he's in a
deep,
very
deep in thought.
he probably realized he's in a very sticky situation.
Yeah.
Although he's been in a very sticky situation this whole game.
Right.
So
Oh dear.
um so I try to get more liberties, and he's starting to co now. And Black is just giving that put up.
Sure.
Because Black knows that even if the corner dies, like this bottom area is so big.
It's massive. Oh
It's
my
yeah, this
god.
is massive. Like there's no way White will have enough if Black is able to secure the whole bottom side.
Yeah, with a surrounded even O7 or just something simple like
Right.
E3. Whoa.
So White can, yeah, and then the other thing is that if White wants to kill Black, like he still owes another move. So even right now, if White tries to kill Black, Black can connect here in Sente, and then push through and then play here, and White still can't kill Black completely. Like if this happens, White has to connect here. Black can play from the outside, and this becomes like another ko. And if it doesn't become a ko, then like if White doesn't fill these liberties, then it'll become a Seki.
Right.
So White would have gained absolutely nothing.
Oh wow. And Black would build solid thickness in the bottom where his potential
right.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, Black would have already gained a lot of profit here.
Yeah.
In the bottom right side.
Gotcha.
So let's see what happens. So White cut. What is White trying to do with this cut? Maybe if I were White, I would consider like maybe this Aji, but not really, because after this, White has a problem here. So this wouldn't work. If White lives and Black captures, and White kills this, I mean,
Then Black's taking a quarter of the board though.
yeah,
But
it's
White is
just
taking
still.
a lot.
Yeah, White gains something, but it's more like a consolation that isn't much of a prize at all because he still loses the game. But this, I don't think this is what White did. So White did do this. Just without the Atari exchange first. All right, so it's basically the same but in a different order. Okay, so Black decided like, he's just gonna live, and here, I guess White's already alive, so he doesn't need to spend a move to live. But White does have to play this move in Gote. So, for example, if White had Tanuki right now, Black could actually.
Black could take the second, right?
Well, if he plays here, he has to connect, right?
Oh,
And then White can still connect up.
Yeah, and then Black has a cut problem between 2 weeks.
Yeah. So why did White spend another? Another mystery.
Sometimes you just want to settle a tough situation.
But it's already basically settled. Like, even if Black spends another move here, like first of all, this opens up this cut, right?
Yeah, and
so Black doesn't even want to do that in the first place.
Right.
If Black connects here, then White can still do this, and then this wave, and Black still has to fix on the outside around here.
Asker to Kineas says it has something to do with the ko. Which ko, Asker to Kineas?
Yeah, I don't know. There's no more codes, so.
Paperless Magic says sometimes your pumpkin brain just takes over and you play a slap.
I mean, I think possibly maybe White thought that Black would connect, and then that would open up this Aji.
Sure.
Because in this case, like now, if Black plays something here, oh, maybe there's something with this ko. So like maybe this ko. I mean, not that Black would do it right now, but there's a little bit of Aji there.
But yeah, White would just take the Black stones around K12 after that.
Yeah.
But not really.
So I think like it's not something urgent. Like this Atari definitely is not an urgent thing he has to do. Yeah, even if black played this sequence, even if white disconnects, like white still like black still can't really do anything. Yeah. Oh wait, black can't connect. So that means black would have to play here first. And if white connects, maybe black would play here. And this. Yeah, then white's in trouble.
Right.
Okay, so then it sort of makes sense. But what if like if black plays here, what if white just Atari's down? What would happen then? So if black connects, white has to take. But this code would be extremely heavy for black.
Yeah.
And plus there's still like a weakness here. Right?
Yep.
That'd be a bit difficult, I think.
The white player just might have had an illusion.
I mean, I think it's possible that maybe he just. I mean, maybe he was scared of this code, but also thought that maybe black would connect, possibly. Or at least like maybe black would consider fixing the outside and then get this incentive.
Okay.
But the black player, I think he realized that these 4 stones are not really that important. Like white's not gonna spend a move to capture them anytime soon when there's this whole bottom right area to deal with. So he just decided to take the safer way out. And this is probably leading into what would be the last fight of the game.
Sure.
So right now,
that's the game state right now.
Yeah, now we're caught up with the game. So basically, like white can live in the corner, but the outside is still too big for white to give black. And it looks like black is even now not gonna let white off the hook.
So this may be a dumb question, but in case people aren't sure, we're fairly confident in black's lead in this game, right? Or are the points evening out now?
Wait, sorry, you cut off a little bit.
Oh, I was wondering if we're pretty confident that black is in the lead in this game.
Yeah, black has a pretty good lead right now. Probably what will happen is white will probably live in black will let white live in the corner, and black will just take the outside. Right. And if we look at points right now, we can count. In the top left, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points ish. Is there a way to put like numbers? I can write numbers here,
there
right?
Are, yeah.
Okay, so here's 11. At the top, white has 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the right side, so we'll count the 4 stones in the top 8 as 4 for white.
Yeah.
Because white has like a 50% chance of those stones.
Sure.
So there was 8, and then we'll divide by 2.
Yeah.
And white has maybe like 2 points around this group.
Sure. And
in the middle, these white stones, oh shoot, I got rid of my numbers.
Yeah.
Does it get rid of your numbers if you like open another tool?
Well, what happened is they played a move and you were up to the
game. Okay, so let's go back to let me put what did I say? This was 11. This was 13.
Yeah.
This was 4.
Correct.
This was 2.
Yeah.
And so this these stones, like we can't really count any. For one thing, they're not settled. 2, they're not actually like surrounding that many points really. But we'll assume they're gonna live. Okay? So we're gonna say there's at least 2 points.
Yep.
We'll call this 2 points.
They definitely have a living move at like A10 something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if white captures, then they'll live, and they'll probably make at least 2 more.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. Bottom right. If we assume black plays R5 and white plays S4, and somehow this lives some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that it necessarily will live that easy. There's still a little bit of oddity, but we'll just call it 5.
Sure.
And the bottom left we can call maybe. We'll just call that 5 too. I don't know how much it's actually. It depends on who plays first.
Yep.
So that adds up to 10, 18 plus 24. That's 42. 42 plus Kumi. AJ Kumi 7.5.
Yep.
White has about 50. So
Okay.
black needs about 50 on the board to win.
Gotcha.
So let's. I'll go forward 1 move to reset the numbers.
One.
So if we count black has 2 here.
Mm-hmm.
At the top left area, he has like technically H16 of the Sente, so he has 8 plus. White technically has D12 still, so we can't really count any points there. But if black did spend a move there, then he'd have another 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8-ish. So 8-ish plus. So we'll divide that by 2, so 4.
Okay.
Plus 4 plus 8. So this is about 12, roughly. At the bottom side, well, how much is this? Let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these 4 stones are basically dead.
Right.
Oh, I think they put another move. Oh, so this is basically what happened. So white did manage to, black did let white live in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And so those 5 points are about right. Maybe it'll be like 7, maybe.
Sure.
And then black on the outside. So these stones are all as good as dead. Like white realistically can never pull.
Oh no way.
It's basically impossible. So if we count black's area here, so we said earlier there's 2. This was 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom side, so around the H3 area, we can't count any points yet, because white theoretically could still invade there. It's not south, but we can count maybe the area up to about here. We can assume that these will become points.
Sure.
Maybe up to here.
Okay.
So if we count from here, black has maybe like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus 14, 27, 30, 35, 45, 51. Yeah, let me go back. So this is about 51.
Oh, so just with that territory alone?
Yeah, this alone. And that's if black gets reduced down to the triangle line.
Right.
That's 51 plus 14, that's 65. And how much? This is a difficult part. How much do we?
We just said he needed 50. So.
Was it?
Yeah.
And that's including Komi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means that black has a very commanding lead.
Yeah.
And we have to imagine that the end game for black is going to be much easier for white because black has theoretically more potential around like this area here.
Mm-hmm.
And also white's group in the middle here is not alive yet.
Sure.
So white has a burden, black has more potential. Black already has more points. So from that, all of that, it's
a tough
white.
game for white. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole game has been a tough game for white.
Yeah, that's fair. And it all
so
started with that Atari, the wrong direction.
It all started with that Atari.
At L17 was a losing move. Oh man.
So white is trying to settle. Remember how before we were saying that white's center stones were like a burden, potential burden?
Yeah.
So now white is trying to settle them quickly as possible and maybe make some more points in this area here.
Mm-hmm.
But this does help black to make more points on the left side. And if I'm black, honestly, these these 2 stones here are not that important. Like, if black saves them, like white's already alive. So that means black doesn't need to save them. They're just points. So if I'm black, probably I will play like maybe here, maybe even jump and make the center bigger.
Mhm.
Maybe probably this jump looks good. I like the jump. I think this is possible too, but I think this
sure.
is good enough. If white plays something like this, then black can just continue surrounding the middle. And remember, before we put the triangle line somewhere around here, I think.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, black has surrounded at least another 20 points ish.
Yeah. Oof.
I mean, white gained some more points here. Gained some more points too. So like,
Yeah.
white in the corner alone has, we said it was 5 before. Now it's 9, 20. Now it's like 20. So white gained 15 points here.
Mhm.
And whoever gets B11 first gets an extra, maybe, let's see, like 6 plus 79, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's like a 13 points ish, 14 points. Something around there in the ballpark.
Uh-huh.
But white was already behind, and I feel like this exchange alone is still good for black. Like black came out ahead, so white would just be more behind.
Oh, I see. I wish they were showing the board right now. It kind of looks like the opponents are talking, so someone might have
Oh,
resigned. Um,
maybe
uh,
someone was like,
it kind of looks that way.
oh, so white. I guess white probably resigned here. So yeah,
Okay,
so
there's the board.
once,
Yeah, they're
so
talking about the game.
black chose to go into the corner, and I mean this is, oh, so hold on, let's backtrack a bit. So after this, black did jump, right?
Mhm.
And then white took this, but this is pretty small, and black made some sente moves and then came into the corner. And remember before we said white had like 20-ish points in the corner
Yeah.
if white had like defended it all, but now white has like 0 points in the corner, and black gains at least 5 points in the corner power.
Oh,
So that's already like another 25 point swing.
yeah.
Even though white managed to gain the 13 or so points by playing this B11.
Okay.
Pretty much black still came out ahead in that exchange again. So that's probably why it was.
That makes sense. That makes total sense.
But you can see from the very beginning, like black can, ever since this sequence, and the moment black cut here, I think the game was firmly in control, and he never let go of it.
Payson Fox asked if ODNIHS is from my club. No, you're not from my club. Meng Wang, who just won this game, is from my club. That's who we're talking about. From the Evanston. And
Yeah.
ODNIHS, there was a question about your Twitch. It's twitch.tv/ODNIHS, right? And
Yeah.
then
And
your
same for
YouTube.
YouTube.
YouTube is the same. Perfect. It's probably
Yeah.
/user/ODNIHS or something like that.
No. Actually, it used to be /user/, and then I wanted to make all of my channels consistent, so I changed it.
Okay.
But now, like, if you do use /user/ODNIHS, it won't work. So you just have to do youtube.com/ODNIHS.
Okay.
And I haven't uploaded it on it. I haven't uploaded it on it in like a pretty long time, but I'm sort of slowly figuring some things back out. So hopefully you'll see new videos soon.
Yeah, so be sure to follow ODNIHS. Sorry, I was saying it wrong.
I don't actually know what the official pronunciation is. It's just Shindo backwards. So I imagine if you say Shindo, it's like ODNIHS. Should go backwards, right?
That makes
That
sense.
was my idea.
I want to give a big shout out again to our sponsors, BadukClub. That's https://baduk.club. That's their URL. And of course, the AGA AGF for sponsoring this event with materials and money to bring a pro in and stuff like that.
And when's the next round starting?
The next round is actually tomorrow morning, and I have to double check the time. I think it's at 9 a.m.
Is it only 2 rounds today?
Yeah, there's only 2 rounds per day. I believe there's 4 rounds total.
I see.
Let me.
Oh, it's a 4-round tournament?
Yeah, just because of the number of players, I believe it's
Oh,
single
okay.
elim.
Okay.
Uh, hold on, where is my? It's right here. My Oh, Sunday at 9 a.m. Yeah, the next round is at 9
Okay.
a.m.
Okay.
Oh, and
Oh, you might
oops, I was looking at Discord. Oh my gosh,
have.
genius! It hit your face. Oh.
Do you know like who the other top runners in the...
Who the top runners in the tournament are? I am
Yeah.
not sure. Not sure at all, unfortunately.
I think overall, like Wang Meng, he played pretty well. Um,
Hmm.
I think like if he plays like that, I mean, I guess it depends who else there is, but I think he probably has a pretty good shot of winning
For sure.
if there's no super strong players attending.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I guess that's the game. I was thinking we would
Yeah.
send one of the players over to talk to them, but it looks like they are deep in discussion about their game. So I
Yeah.
I like letting that happen because it's always fun for players to talk about their games together.
Right. The post
Um,
game review is always like it's an interesting time for the winner and the loser.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Is there anything else you want to mention about the game, or you want to give shout outs to anybody, or?
Um, Thanks for having me on the stream.
You're very welcome.
Uh,
This was a big help to me as well. So
Glad hope everyone enjoyed the commentary. And do you know who's commentating tomorrow?
tomorrow is going to be Cosmo Go
Oh,
for the
great.
first round, and then Kim Yoon Young is actually going to be live in the studio commenting the game with Alex, who's Scatmaker.
Ah,
They'll be commenting together, which will be a really good time.
is that going to be streamed live as well?
Yep, that'll be live in the afternoon, and I can't remember the time off the top of my head, but you can check the website for the time because I don't want to show my Discord again.
Yeah, sounds like we have some very exciting commentaries coming up tomorrow as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna stop the stream, so let's find out who else is streaming Go so we can actually support the other streamers online. 1 second, and then call it good from there.
Yep.
Oh, where is it? Oh, we have several people streaming. That's fantastic. I always like to see the new streamers. It's great to see people like supporting the community and showing
Yeah.
people this awesome game. Let's see. So
I
I'm
remember
gonna.
back in the day, there used to be very few 5 years ago. I feel like nowadays, like at almost any time of day, like there'll usually at least be someone streaming.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, my computer is like, oh no, you're opening tabs. Let me just make sure I can actually raid another stream. I don't have my BadukClub chat open. All I have open is my Daniell ML 01 on BadukClub. I don't think that lets me do it. So I'm gonna let you pick. Would you like to raid Self Atari? Would you like to raid Married to Go?
Sorry, you might cut off again.
Oh yeah, no worries. Would you like to raid Self Atari? Would you like to raid Married to Go? Albanex 69 or Salunero?
Uh,
Do you know any of those guys?
I know that Married to Go is like a so Ilya Shikshin's sister
Yep.
and I guess her husband.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with the other two. I think I've seen Self Atari in my chat before. Um, who is the third one?
I've never heard of them. Albanex 69. I've never
Yeah,
seen.
I don't know the other ones.
And Salunero is a fairly new streamer as well. So do you want to go with Married to Go since that one seems familiar?
Sure.
All right, we'll do it. Where'd my mouse go? I have so many monitors right now. I never work with this many monitors. All right, everybody. Be sure to follow so you can get notifications of our next streams. And we will see you tomorrow morning for the next one. Should be a great time.
Thanks for watching.
Flash raid. MARIED 2 go. Raid's gonna start in about 10 seconds. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, red time.
Bye.